Hello, welcome to the next round of competitive list. It's been a minute since I'd done one of these videos. Thought it was about time that I went ahead and did a video on it. Today, I have some decent lists for you guys today. I got 11, I think, around that number. So, hopefully you guys enjoy it. All these decks will be linked in the description below. They're all from MTG Goldfish. They all got 5.0s within since the last competitive list thing that I did. So right out of the gate, we're going to start off with some, I think, a fun deck, and then we're going to get into a little bit more interesting decks later on that just kind of got a 5.0 recently. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you smash that like button so more people see it, and subscribe. I'm on my way to trying to get to 1,000 subs. That way we can start doing more things for the channel. And let's get into the deck list. So number one on my list is Vampires with Sorin, Golta, and it looks like it plays Olivia, which is pretty awesome. It has, the early drops, 4 visitors, which is kind of cool overall. Fatal Push for interaction with Thoughtseize with Fable and the Mirror Breaker, which is great with, Epicure, Blood Tithe Harvester. So maybe even Visitor, they can copy it. Sideboard wise, we have Grasp, to kill Shieldred, stuff like that. We have the other Grasp for mono green and mono white. We have 4 Go Blanks as a way to hate on against control. Extinction Event for aggro and mono green. We have Kolaghan's Command as a way to kind of catch all artifact hate, little creature hate, discard hate, return after a Thoughtseize hate. We have Predator, which is just a creature that's hard to remove that we could bring in. It's like a Swiss Army knife with a sword. And then last but not least, we have Kalidas, which is good against aggro. So that is the deck that, got a 5.0. It's kind of sweet with Golta and Maverin. So if you're looking to spice your decks up and play a deck featuring that card, you could definitely consider about picking this list up. And the good news is you're picking up a lot of format staples like Push, Thoughtseize, Fable, Harvester. So you're essentially kind of just pivoting from Rakdos mid-range. So that is our first deck of this video. Let's get into the next. So a while back, we got a Boros human list that got a 5.0 with Vanguard, Robber of the Rich, and Tajik, which is the sweetest part of this entire discussion. Tajik should deserve more slots. Of course, we have the other common cards. We have Boros Charm as our protection spell / get that last point of damage, which actually I think is kind of sweet for this deck. We also get to pick up Volley, which makes us better against the Mirror, and Greasefank and Spirits. So we have Evil for Fable the Mirror Breaker and Shieldred. We have Brutal Cathar for a little bit of a removal from our creature suite. Probably cut some Adelines or Tajiks, run those. Wedding Announcement for the grinding matchups and the festivities as a way to fight through Convoke, as well as elves, stuff like that. And we have Redain as the top end. We could bring in against sweepers. We also could bring in against Mayhem Devil because the backside prevents 1 point of damage, which is quite relevant. Even though our creatures are probably going to get the blunt of all that attacks, but then again, Tajik helps as well stop Mayhem Devil. So Mayhem Devil has to kill Tajik first. So that is the second list today. Let's get into the next. Keeping down the world of some tribal decks. Next, we got elves in Pioneer. We have 12 1-drops, 12 2-drops, and then we also have a 1 of Glissa we can get with Cord, an Ancient Pyrosaur we can get with Cord, or maybe some other thing. We have a Realm Walker for card advantage, Shamans or Wincon, Sage as a kind of catch-all artifact and enchantment removal. We have 2 Dinos, which makes this deck sweet. We have Collected Company. And this is one of those decks that I actively want to try because I think this deck is really just awesome. We have Dark Betrayal for Shieldred hate. We have Ooze for Graveyard hate. We have Sanctuary as a way to fight through Rakdos mid-range and removal. We have Mistcaller. This is probably mainly in here for decks that are trying to like creativity and stuff like that. We have Revoker. We could bring in against mono green, stop Karn. We have Knight the Dust Shadow for life gain hate. Spirit for wrath hate. We have Jailer as a way to fight through certain combo strategies using their graveyard or library. We have Vivian for the grinding matchups. We have Yasharn as a target we could bring in if there's a lot of sacrificing and stuff like that. That is our 4-color elf deck. Let's get into the next. Next on my list is another Collected Company / Cord list. This is Grinning Ignis combo. Now, this deck looks like we're only playing 2 copies. We have a full play set of Grinning Ignis right over here. But we have Burgi to help combo. Steamkin also helps combo. We have Risen Reef to get us through our deck, to find our other pieces. Same with Hazard's Monument. So those are quite nice. We have 8 elves and 4 innkeepers for ramp. And the life gain's kind of relevant because we could gain any infinite life. Floor Region works quite well with Risen Reef. So that works pretty good. So makes sense. Instead of a normal land down here. We also have Mox Amber as a one-of to work with the, I guess Burgies. That are only, I think Burgies are only legendary creature. So that's kind of iffy. But we have Deviler as another way of finishing the game. Ping your opponent out of the game. We have a Devilish Valet, which is just a sweet way to win the game. Sideboard. We have Volley for mono white, blue, Greasefang, Spell Pierce as a way to fight through a mono blue. Control, stuff like that. We have Stand to protect our threats against Rakdos midrange. A Braid for artifact and creature removal. Liberator from one more artifacts and enchantment removal. We have Ratchet Bomb to fight through convoke creatures, which is, I assume, this is primarily for, because they make a lot of tokens. You can just blow the tokens up. We have 2 Hearse for graveyard hate and another Braid, of course, for artifact and creature hate. That is Burgi combo for Pioneer. That is a sweet list. If you want to pick this up, try this at your FNM. Don't forget all these lists are in the description. Let's get into the next. Next on my list is the deck that I'm going to be featuring later on, I believe. Or it might have been this week. I can't remember. It's going to come soon. All I know. It's either has dropped or it's coming. And that is 4-color Omnath, or basically 5-color elementals with Leyline Binding, Chain to the Rocks, Voice of Resurgence, Lotus Cobra, Nissa, Risen Reef, and Omnath. So the deck is quite awesome. It's quite fun. Elesh Norn is really powerful with all the ETB stuff that's going on in this list. And then we have a Tangle Florahedron. So the only thing to keep in mind, I would recommend if you're trying this list out, is make sure that you get really good with the lands. Like, there is possibilities where you just kind of get messed up on the wrong colors, because you do want actively 4 colors by turn 4. So keep that in mind, because you want to be able to curve out consistently. Sideboard, we have Volley for the same matchups. Dispute for control. Evil is mainly for Rakdos midrange. We have Dovin's Veto. It's a common counter spell we could bring in. Also, this card is pretty good against Lotus Field, as well as Distortion. Then we have Hearse as a way to fight through graveyards. Supreme Verdict and Radiant Flames is our choice of Wraths. Then we have a Jingatha we could play out of the board. Just keep in mind, if you bring in these cards, you're going to lose your Jingatha, so keep that in mind. That is the next list on our next deck on our list, 5-color midrange. Let's get into the next. All right, next on my list is the deck that I'm going to be playing in a few weeks. I kind of want to try it out. Actually, I'm recording it this week, so I'm super excited about trying this list out. It's very interesting. The fact that we played Luca. Tyvar goes combo with Rona, so that's kind of sweet with Helix. Karn is a solid backup plan for the infinite mana you can make with Rona and Mox. All right, so we have Kinnan, we have Caryatid and Elf for ramp. We have 2 Atroxas, or 3 Atroxas. Oh, there's the Mox Ambers. Othanissa, which is quite sweet for 1-drop. We have a couple Wrens, I believe. Only one. Yeah, only one. Except we have 4 Tyvars, 3 Lucas, and a couple Karns, which we have 1 on the board for some reason. I don't understand that one. So overall, this deck is a combo with style deck. It's kind of sweet because I really like to see how this deck plays out with Luca. And essentially we max out at 2 drops, right? Yeah. So we take one of these 2 drops like Caryatid, which has hexproof, convert it into an Atraxa. So that's a sweet backup plan, which I'm excited about trying. We have a Helix in the board, Mox Amber, Dark Steel, Crypt, Might, Needle, Sphere, Bankbuster, Chariot. So we have a bunch of options we can customize with our Karn package. Yeah, so it looks like we can like sideboard more into the sideboard combo on game 2. We don't look like we have a lot we want to bring in. I mean, the extra Helix, I guess. It's kind of weird that we don't have any way of just like getting a non-creature spell out of our sideboard, but that's okay. So I'm actually quite excited about trying this list out this week. So that is the next deck on our list. Let's get into the finale 5. So let's get into it. Next on my list, Archfiend of the Dross combo with Metallic Alteration. It does run some Hermits to protect our combo when we go off. Corpse Appraiser is a solid mid-range piece with Fabled Mirror Breaker. Thoughtseize, just a busted card. We have a push for removal. Drown in the Lock, a couple of those. Considers, Go for the Throat. What really got me interested in this build was the Nicobolus. A lot of the Grixis ones I've seen, don't really play him. So that really intrigued me. So we have 4 dig through times. So this deck looks pretty solid overall. You know what Volley's for. Ray of Enfeeblement, which is pretty good against mono white. It also kills Greasefang. We have another Hermit for control, Negate for control, Stroke as a way to fight through mid-range. We have Hijitsu Xumzal is probably pretty good against Convoke, aggro-based decks. We have a Bankbuster for grinding matchups like mid-range, control, stuff like that. We could probably cut the pushes, bring those in. Pithy Needle is pretty good against planeswalkers like Karn. Turns off Parhelion. We have Extinction Event for mono green. And then the Nykthos for the grinding matchups, which more Nicoboluses the better. That's how I say it. So that is our Grixis mid-range deck that has a combo in it with Archfiend of the Dross and Alteration. Let's get into the next. Next on my list is a Gruel Atarka Red list that has the Dino. Second deck of this video with the dinosaur in it. This version plays 4 Gilded Gooses with Epicure and the Synthesizer to get your Gleeful Demolition online. Loyalist 4 of is kind of awkward. Honestly, I don't really think Loyalist is that great of a card, but it's fine. We have Instigator as a way to go wide, get enough tokens to tap out for Ancient Pterosaur. We do not have that many green creatures, which is to be noted, right? So getting this full maxed out by Convoke is probably not likely to happen. And then of course we have Tarka's Command, which is just the best Gruel card, one of the best Gruel cards in the format. Sideboard, we have being Forge Devil to get the elves, to get the Convoke matchups, mirrors. We have Volley as a way to hate on mono white, Rose for Shieldred, Skylasher for mono blue spirits, Alpine Moon for the pesky Lotus Field matchup. You could also bring this in against mono green to name Nykthos to slow them down so you can get underneath them. We have Cinder Vines for control as well as artifact and enchantment removal, and combo where you want to just ping them if they can cast a bunch of spells in a turn. That is our Gruel Convoke list. Let's get into the next. Next on my list is a mono red Obosh list. So that's kind of sweet. I've been wanting to play an Obosh list for Pioneer, so I might want to pick this list up, maybe try it through a league. We have Swift Spear, Phoenix Chick, Soulscar Mage as our 1-drops. Mid-range threats are Bone Crusher Giant, Chain Whirler, Furnace Punisher, which is a card I've always liked. We also, I guess, we have Kamuno, Play with Fire, and Endless Festivities for more 1-drops. We have a lot of low to the ground. Light up the stage to fuel our deck. We have another Furnace Punisher down here. We have a Chandra for grindy. We have another Chandra we could bring in for grinding matchups. We have Volley for the mono white matchup, as well as Spirits, which is we're trying to race. Basically, you see the first one to knock the other opponent out. We have War Crafting. I'm assuming this is for Shieldred. And it's pretty good if we, don't take out Shieldred. We at least get to exile top 1 or 2 cards and play it. Ferocidon for the Convoke matchup. It's also pretty good against P and Alar, so that's quite relevant. We have Kari Zev, Expertise to take big threats for like Gruel mid-range, matchups like that. Then we have this Ox and Agonas, which I'm kind of confused. I kind of want to ask the person that made this list and see why they have this in this side. I mean, it is a decent sized threat, and it lets you get cards. So maybe this is for like Rakdos mid range, but I'm not exactly sure. If you know what the matchups with this card's for, let me know down in the comment section. Let's get into the final 2 lists. And next on my list is a 5-0 by Doomwake. If you like his content, make sure you go look at his YouTube page, subscribe. He also has content. He streams on Twitch. If you're interested watching Doomwake, go ahead and do that. So he played recently a Runaway Steamkin combo with P and Alar, Chain of the Rocks, Showdown 4 of. Then we have 3 Impulses, 4 Resolves, a couple Hazards to make our land count up a little bit, a couple of Drums. I probably never run more than 2. But we also have Stoker, and then Soulscar Mage. So, the deck is a little bit more combo-centric. Fiery Impulse and March play with fire, so we have a little bit of extra removal. Some of it can go face. Sideboard, we have Alpine Moon for mono green matchup. Also, of course, Lotus Field matchup. We have a Braid for a little bit of creature and artifact removal. Bali to hate on, of course, Spirits, Mono White, Greasefang. Commando as an artifact and enchantment removal. Invasion to push off Wraths. We have Redain to also push off Wraths. Also is pretty good against our Rakdos Sacrifice, where we want to make the Mayhem Devil not do damage. We also have Faithful Absence and Evil. These are like kind of catch-all. They're good. Both can kill a Shieldred. Evil can kill, of course, Fable the Mirror Breaker. Absence can kill like Teferi. We have a Jingata also on our board. You don't really have to worry about, like unlike the other previous lists where you bring certain cards in, you lose Jingata. You don't have to worry about that with this list. This is one of those decks that's really taking a huge foothold on the Pioneer meta right now. And it's a fun deck to face and play. So overall, I think this deck is healthy for the format. So I like this list. Let's get into the finale list, which just got a 5-0. And I think the list looks awesome. Let's get into it. So last but not least, a deck that I found today. Delver Secrets in Pioneer. So we have 4 Delvers, 2 Petramanders, 2 Brazen Barbers, 4 Sprite Dragons. That's a very interesting combination of threats. Consider we do not play Opt though. We also have Fairy Mastermind down here. Yeah, I don't see Opt. Oh, there's an Opt. So it looks like we play 1. We have Impulse for our removal. We do fill up our yard. We have 2 Make Disappears, a Lofty Denial, Spell Pierce, a Thrill, a Prismari Command. Like, there's a bunch of one-ofs. Surprisingly enough, a card that I have not seen, any Pioneer competitive play, Ionize. That card is awesome. A counter spell that deals 2 damage to the face. Love it. So it's like a Izzet Delver counter burn deck, which I think is pretty sweet. So this is definitely a list I want to try at some point for a Monday episode, just to see how it feels before I determine if I want to try this through a league, because I definitely think this deck is pretty awesome. Sideboard, you know what Volley's for. We have Corona's God of Storms for the grinding matchups, Gust to fight mono green, Negate to face control, as well as other matchups that might want this, like Lotus Field. Disputes also for control, so we could play a secrets, protect something. We have Search for Escanta also for grinding matchups. to also help us look and see if we can find a card for Delver. We have Roast for Sheoldred. That is the sweetest deck I've seen in a while for Pioneer. And that looks like Izzet Delver. If you like this content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And share this video if you like. We're on our way to try to get to 1,000 subs. Let's get there. And like I said, if you like this content, make sure you let me know down in the chat or the comment section. Because I do try to do this maybe. But if you guys like it so much, I'm going to try to see if I can't do it more often. I didn't do one since like mid-June. So it's been over a month since my last competitive list video. So make sure you let me know so I can prioritize this a little bit more than maybe my other content as well. And until next time, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Talk to you soon.